Hello everybody, it is Monday, February 7th, 2022. Doing a public video tonight. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So pretty much we've been waiting for this correction to finally be over. The question remains at this point in time, was this the bottom back here at 33K or so? And the answer so far is not clear. If we had gotten a productive, impulsive move off of the low, we would already have the answer. But as it is, we have just that ABC up, and we've had this choppy ABC action ever since, basically. That makes it more difficult to actually call the bottom in, and it just takes a little bit longer, basically. So that being said, even though this initial move was an ABC, we actually have a fairly decent 5-wave move shaping up right now for one of two things. Either this is a 5-wave move within blue C, right, of yellow Y. We've got a W, X, and Y potential right here. Within that Y, we've got A, B, and C, and that C wave should shape up as 5 waves, as we've seen. So that being said, the alternative is that we are getting a diagonal. That's what this purple is, and this should or possibly will morph into a 5-wave diagonal, which would prove the bottom, but it's not as reliable as an impulse. So in that case, we have 1, 2, 3. We should be getting a pullback soon for a 4, and then a 5 up, a 5th and final wave up. In order to prove the bottom is in this scenario, this is what we need to see. Because we did not see a clean impulse off the low, this is our best case scenario. And diagonals are very difficult because they're full of corrective action, and corrective action usually says we're going lower, right? ABC up, that's no good, we expect lower from there. WXY up, that's no good, we expect lower from there. It's just not high quality action. So those are our two possibilities, right? We've got the possibility WXY, and we may be going lower. At this point in time, the next pullback is really what matters, right? This, if it's going to hold the bottom, it should give us a fairly clear 3-wave move there. Or, I mean, it can go sideways. That's what it did here. This is A, B, C sideways sort of a deal. For a 2, that's a possibility. If it wanted to do that, we might see something like this where we just kind of maintain sideways in a range before going up. But in any case, we should really hold this bottom diagonal line if we're going to go up there. Alternatively, if we begin to see a 5-wave move down, if we see something instead that looks like this, and obviously it would involve a breakdown of this purple line, right? That would indicate that we are in fact going to be seeing this lower low that we've been kind of expecting the whole time, just because this action's been ugly. So within that, within this structure, we should also be able to see in the micro 5 waves down in that very first wave. So we might get an early indication. We may or may not. I mean, sometimes you can tell and sometimes you can't. So we might get an early indication, but otherwise we're pretty much watching this diagonal line here to see if it breaks or holds on the next pullback. But in either one of those scenarios, we really should be seeing a pullback very soon. It has already extended a bit beyond what it should have, with this being a 1 and 2 and that being 3. It tapped the zone for 4, that's beautiful. But from there, we have extended beyond the normal. This is the normal top for 5 right here. So I'm going to try to find what might be, the 5 waves within 5, because we may yet see just a little bit more extension. So I kind of want to just take a look at that. This is pretty clearly our 4th wave. It's the only point that actually tapped that green support box for 4. So therefore, the next move that we have is likely our 1-2. So that's probably this right here, 1-2. This move up is very possibly 3, and we're either done or working on 4, and we may yet have one more push up in this move. So that being said, let me just label that real quick, just so I can keep track of it. 1, 2, probably 3, 4, and 5 is what we're looking for. Let me make that really tiny. All right, so there's our 5 within 5 of possibly C of Y. Either that or a third wave in a diagonal. So that being the case, we've got our third here and our second here. We therefore expect fourth wave support to hold right in this box that was pretty much the target before, but being as it extended a little bit, we have potential support right there instead. So it already tapped it. It could come down a little bit further if it wanted to into this box. And then now we're looking at potentially a move up to about here, which is 45.3 to 45.8 as the topping out point for this micro move. Now this is, it may or may not play out like this. I mean, the top really could be in at any point. I've been saying that for a while. Top of this move could really be in at any point, but we could potentially see that extension up, near 40, somewhere in the 45 to 46 range. Now, in all likelihood, if it does that, I mean, it really pushes the probability more into this bullish scenario's favor. We've already gone a little bit beyond this large red box right here that I have drawn. That was the expected range for the WXY, for the Y to go of the WXY. That big red box is the expected range for that, and you can see that we are above it. So being that we've extended above that, and if we can get up here, especially if we can get up there, it really pushes the favor into the bull's court. Now, that's not to say that it's going straight up from here. We should still see a fairly significant pullback, unless it goes sideways, but even within a sideways structure, we'll probably see some decent drops. So, basically if it extends upwards, I'll expect there, and then still a pretty deep drop down to 40K-ish again, and then we'll see. And because we went above this red box, it doesn't completely remove this lower low as a possibility, but it does make it more possible. So my plan, I think, is going to be, first off, let's assume we go a little higher. So we'll have to adjust that to wherever it actually tops out. Let me put this count on here as well, the larger count, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to make that a little bit bigger, like so. Let's just make it red for now, because it's kind of been my alternative the whole time, but it is a possibility that that is what's happening here. So anyway, looking to finish off this third wave in the bullish scenario or the Y wave in the bearish scenario. And then the pullback from there is really what counts, right? If we can come down here and hold a pullback, likely around 40K. That seems like a pretty decent target, unless, if it happens right away, has a big deep drop, it could go down to 39. But depending on time, because we're in a diagonal structure, it could be anywhere along there, right? 41, 40, 39, depending on how long it takes. Assuming that area then holds, we need to see this final wave up in order to really solidify this as the bottom. And I want to reiterate, this is not a super bullish structure. Having a big diagonal like this, we can see a rally start from this, but it's not pretty. And even if we do prove the bottom with this, we'll get up here maybe near 50 or so. We're still going to have a deep drop, and I mean probably not to a lower low, but we'll still probably see 30s again, mid to high 30s at a minimum on the next pullback. And then that's going to be the place to buy once that forms a little bit more clearly. That'll be the place to buy, and the stop will go below the low over there. But because it's a diagonal, it still could lead us to a lower low. That's how unreliable they are. It's just, it's probably worth playing anyway. If we get this pullback, it's probably worth buying that pullback with a stop below the low. Because it is at least 5 waves, and it can signal that the bottom is in, and that'll be the primary scenario if we do see that. So my plan is actually to wait for this to top out. I'm not playing with it right now, but the next pullback that we see, right around this purple line, wherever we get there, I'm going to go ahead and put some of my funds into Bitcoin. Maybe I'll do it on futures and just do a scalp or something. But I'll potentially scalp along from here up to that 5th wave target. If it instead breaks down, then I'll get out, right? So that purple line is going to be really important for me. I'll try putting some money in there, but I'll be getting out if it breaks down below it. And the target is really just going to be up, a little bit higher, up in the 50s or so. And I'll be looking to hedge short and or sell a fairly significant portion at that point in time, because I'll still expect a pullback after that, like I said. So that's kind of my plan right now on what I'm looking to do. Yeah, all right. That pretty much sums it up. And once again, as of right now, we have not ruled out a lower low as a possibility. We have made it a little bit less likely, but we haven't ruled it out. All right, I think that pretty much sums it up. Hopefully that made sense. If not, please join us in the Trade Like a Whale Discord and ask me questions about what you don't understand. All right, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.